creating cosmos out of chaos.
Right. Mexico was this odd case.
The
Right.
case,
Right.
wasn't it one of the only countries in the world that stayed open?
I think so.
Sweden.
Sweden?
But they didn't talk about it, yeah.
Sweden and Mexico, yeah.
And also, well, Japan didn't close down, did it? So we found out when we were there.
Really, eh?
Yeah, didn't close down.
That's because Japan always wears
And then
masks.
but they said just mask up, keep a distance, don't talk to each other, take the jab if you want.
I thought that was interesting, though,
Very
that,
weird.
that Japan, the untalked about thing was their use of ivermectin and how then once they started implementing
And in Brazil, in
ivermectin.
lots of areas they did too. In Mexico, there was a big state in Mexico that used it, and doctor brought out the study, and wow, yes, and they crushed him obviously, and the information got ignored. But in Mexico, it was used as well. This is, early treatment protocols work, and they,
Yeah, I mean, treatment
them, right?
protocol. They called it a health pandemic, but they didn't talk about health.
exactly.
It's crazy, right? It's like, maybe, I don't know, we should talk about people being healthy, getting outside, like taking vitamin D.
Yeah,
like
nothing about how to avoid it, right?
maybe eating well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe we should
lifestyle
talk-
changes.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Keep them eating burgers.
But it's crazy. I feel like also when everything happened, so many people went to Mexico that were looking to escape this kind of,
They did.
prison.
Well,
that a lot of
400,000, I think it's 300 to 400,000 people, can't remember the exact stat, let's say 350,000 people emigrated from immigrated in this case, into Mexico from the US during COVID.
Almost a 500,000.
To live, yeah.
Wow.
So like Mexico City, huge influx, Baja California, this area here, other parts of Mexico too. And, they come here because a lot of Americans have realized they can work remotely, obviously.
Yeah.
So it's so cheap here for them to live, right? And a lot of them realize that for buying a home there at the price of the deposit they pay for the home there and spending their next 50 years in debt, they can buy a home here with the deposit and have no debt.
Yeah, that's...
So many people are moving here, buying homes, and I've got a friend in Playa who's got a 2-bedroom penthouse here in Playa on the top of the building.
Really?
And he moved here from Canada as well, and he's like, stupid, it's the deposit I pay over there.
Wow.
Why would I want to get in debt with all these interest rates flying through the sky?
Oh, yeah. Well, the price of homes in Canada.
Well, it's been skyrocketing too since the pandemic.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's just out of control. No, it's interesting fluctuating times. And then, I mean, that lands you here,
Here's
in
the land of
Palmaïa.
opportunity.
In
At
Palmaïa,
Palmaïa, the House of AïA.
the House of AïA.
It's
What is
crazy
this?
idea.
It is a crazy
It
idea.
was a very crazy idea and still is, really, yeah.
Let's talk
Kind of.
about the name.
The name.
Palmaïa, the House of AïA, like such an interesting name. Like,
Yeah, I didn't know why it was called that until 2 years after I opened it.
really?
Yeah.
Where did the inspiration come from then?
Well, basically, I think we have to probably go back in time, rewind, and I'll tell you, I'll keep my life short, otherwise we'll go on a bit. So basically, before coming to Mexico, I had a furniture business in Spain for 5 years. And I'd go to Asia 3 months a year. I'd be living there, and I'd contract through in 7 different countries. I'd manufacture furniture and design and items. I'd import them to Spain and wholesale them at a store. I started a furniture website in 2003.
Oh, wow.
And everyone was like, nah, and there people were calling up, no, but I can't touch it. I'm not going to buy it. I was like, but dude, look at the item I have. The price of mine is a third of the guy selling it in Madrid. No, but I want to touch it. I'm like, so imagine people weren't ready for,
Right.
No one was ready for
it wasn't ready for that.
Online-
then.
online
buy a-
shopping.
But online furniture,
I couldn't
you want to like,
until like 2010 online.
Yeah,
Because
that's crazy.
You had to try it on and feel it.
Exactly.
That's
So
so
I did that really early on, and that tanked in 2006 because the global recession came, where all the mortgage-backed securities around the world and all these loans collapsed.
Yeah.
So the whole real estate segment collapsed. So what happened was that people can't buy homes, not going to buy furniture, are they?
Yeah, no, it's good.
So sales started going like that, going down, and I was like, whoa, close this thing down. So I closed it down in 2000. I started in 2007. And I think eventually it was closed in 2008. But anyway, in 2007, I was like, what am I going to do? So obviously I had this family business I'd worked in as a kid as well. My father has the businesses, real estate, hotels, hospitals, and lots of other things.
Wow.
And 15 years ago, about that time exactly, my parents separated, right? So I came on vacation to Mexico, and I was here with my friends, and I was looking at what we had here then, which was 2 hotels.
What kind of hotel?
Large, like all-inclusive, Sandos they're called, fun family activities, But then it was a completely different monster. It was a complete disaster. I was looking around, oh my God, this and that and the service. And I was like, hey guys, this is pretty bad. I mean, we need to find someone to run this, no? So at the same time, my parents were separating, as I said. So my mother kept the hotel, hospitality side of the business, and my father kept all the other real estate or whatever. So my family said to me, "Yeah, you're going to run it." I was like, "I'm not going to run it. I came on vacation."
Like you're staying here.
Exactly. Wow. I want to have fun. So yeah, because I was like about 30 then, I think. Wow. So I was like, "I want to have fun." So like, "No, you're going to run it." I was like, "Oh God, I closed the business down." I was like, "Okay, go on then. I guess I'll have to start working here." So yeah, I started working here. And obviously what I found was this huge monster which consumes these massive resources, huge amounts of electricity, massive amount of food waste. And I was like, what can I do with this now? Right. So obviously we did everything we could to make it more efficient, to improve things. Over 8 years, we reduced electricity consumption like 45%, which is pretty amazing.
How did you guys do that?
So what we see, large hotels use centralized AC systems. Okay. We decentralized it into different chunks and things. It's a lot technical, so probably not.
That's amazing that you guys were able to reduce
well, they're very inefficient anyway, these large hotels, because basically the engineering model they use is built for vertical hotels in the US, like resorts and Vegas and places. Right. And here we're super expansive.
It's all sprawled out.
Yeah, we're sprawled out massive areas, 24, 30, 60 acre hotels. But they use the same theory for the verticals as the horizontals. So it doesn't quite work because you have to add tons more pumps and extra stations and things to make it work, which is like a hidden cost that you don't see. So it makes it super inefficient. But anyway, the reason I'm telling you the story and how it ties up with Palmaïa is because one of the large resorts, I decided, no, I'm going to make it eco. Because because I cared about, I've always cared about nature. I believe that we are an extension of nature with a consciousness. And how can I get people to care about nature? Well, I'll create this amazing experience where they get to connect with nature in one of the resorts, which is called Sandos Caracol. And it's got like cenotes in it. It's got rivers, jungle. I've got to take you guys to see it. It's really, really beautiful.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Nature's incredible. So over 8 years, we did amazing things. We're the first resort in the world, I think, to eliminate plastic bottles.
Like Sandos.
Yeah. Okay. Like, because we did all these like education courses on environment. We created this thing called the All Nature Experience, where you could live 58 different natural activities during the week, connecting to nature with your kids and everyone. Wow. So like you got mind survival, learn how to do the fires in the jungle, jogging in the jungle, macro photography with insects and things. So there are tons of activities, and we made so much effort to like do the eco side of it, no? Everyone always just say to me, no, you're crazy. It's such a huge resort. You can't do that. Eco's for, exclusive for luxury. I'm like
boutique hotels.
I'm like, no, eco's for everyone. We should all care about the earth. The big crisis we're living right now is because of the destruction of the ecosystems that surround us, which are collapsing all the systems that make us survive, So anyway, we were doing this, and I've got an amazing team of people behind me who are helping me. I've got a creative director who executes all my crazy ideas. Anyway, we worked so hard for this. And in 2018, we were having a meeting one day and we were looking at all the stuff. And what we realized was that we'd post something online or whatever about the ecology, and we got 3 likes, 4 likes, like 8 years later still, and then we posted this video of this monkey that we found that was injured. We looked after him and released him to the jungle. 26 likes, whatever. And then someone would post a picture of the glass of beer on the beach and get like 8,000 likes. Oh my God. And we were like, what are we doing this for? Does anyone really care?
That's a hard thing. Right?
It is. So we were like, why all this effort? Is it really worth it when the competition don't do it and no one cares? It's like, why are we doing all this? So I said to everyone, we were having a meeting analyzing what we were doing. And I said, okay, guys, look, this is taking so much of our time. I really appreciate the work. Let's rethink it. But I think from now on, we're going to do something different, and we're going to tone down the eco, because really, as we can see from the reaction from people, it's not really working. So I went to bed, and next morning I woke up, started sliding through my emails, and I had an email from Expedia, right? And that year, on Earth Day, Expedia had done this analysis of all the hotels around the world with AI, where they grabbed all the reviews of more than 80 million or 8 million or whatever it was people. I can't remember. It was a huge amount. I think it was, 18 million or something reviews.
Wow.
And they've taken all the parts that mention sustainability and eco and environment and all these things, and they put the top 10 hotels in the world, right? And we were number 1.
Wow. You were on number 1?
We were number 1 in the world. And I was like, what? This is impossible. And we weren't just number 1 in the world. We were the only hotel on the list in the Americas. And we were the only hotel with more than 50 rooms. We had 1,000 rooms, imagine. All the other hotels had like 49, 50 other boutique eco hotels.
Which is so much easier to make.
Well, we got the highest ranking on guest ratings for the experience that we're giving connecting to ecology. So I went back and said, guys, it's okay. We've got to keep going. We've got to keep doing this. let's go. So anyway, we kept doing that. And excuse me, what I realized over time was that you can give people an experience, but you can't really spoon feed them a philosophy or a purpose. You can't spoon feed people ecology,
Plant the seeds.
Yeah, how do you I can't say, here, eat ecology. Eat ecology for breakfast and lunch. It's like, and then I'll just do whatever, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So so that kind of like set me thinking, I was like, what am I going to do? There's got to be a different way of getting people to wake up to caring about the world and all this. No, in the meantime, I'm also having my own personal growth experiences, and I'd also started to build what is now Palmaïa. So at the time in 2018, Palmaïa, at the beginning of 2018, was this cement structure of the buildings, but it wasn't Palmaïa. It was going to be an extension of Sandos. Oh. It always was.
Wow.
So the original project here was it's actually a 20-year-old project, because it's the first property my father bought when he came to Mexico in 2001. But when I took over, I was so busy doing so many other things, I never have time to develop it. And subconsciously, I didn't want to do it.
Why do you think?
Because it was so beautiful, I didn't want to touch it. This land was so beautiful. I was like, I don't want to touch that. So I was putting it off. I just want to leave it there,
Right.
And then I got so much pressure in the end. I had to do something, right? But then what I said to myself was, okay, at least if I do it, I'm going to do the best I can. If someone else did it, they'd probably just destroy it, like most places get destroyed, no? So the original project we had 14 buildings. It means that the whole place would have got leveled. It would just be cement, grass, and pools, right? So 5 years before that, when I knew I had to do something, 2015, maybe 14, I already started changing the environmental permit. And it took me 3-4 years to change it to be able to do less buildings, make them higher but occupy a lot less space. So instead of 14 buildings, it turns out 7 now. There's 7 buildings only occupy 30% of the land, which means that you get this beautiful sensation here of 70% of it being green and natural. And we were able to also position them in a way that affected the land as least possible.
And it does feel like
it does feel
so
like
connected to nature.
Yeah,
like just even walking to your room, and I mean, we spent a few weeks here now, and it's amazing because you don't feel like you're in a hotel.
Because I think normally when we do hotels, we work them on plans. So the architects draw them out, and you just draw a blueprint on land without really studying the land. You get the levels and stuff. They do study the land, but this land I was so obsessed with that I walked it so many times. I think I knew it to the millimeter in my head. So I knew exactly where every rock was, every tree was in my mind. So I remember when we drew it and when my architects were doing it, I was like, no, move that 1 meter that way because that tree has to be there, So I remember exactly, no, move it all here, move it all there, move it there. And I remember in my mind having it pictured already. So I knew where everything had to be,
Well, that's cool, because even like the ritual deck, like you built a yoga deck in the jungle, and I think it's the only yoga deck I've ever seen that has the trees still coming up.
We can't cut them. What do we do? Leave them.
Build around them.
They won't be able to do yoga. When you stretch, you'll hit your leg. Doesn't matter. They'll be fine.
No,
It worked in the end, which is weird.
You know what happens when you do yoga on that deck? You actually feel like you're in the jungle, and you feel more connected to Mother
Also,
Earth.
when you're lying down, right, doing shavasana, you got these beautiful
exactly. It's unbelievable.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So anyway, as I was, this was being built at the same time, and at that time, I'd had an architect who worked with me called Carlos, and he lived in Guadalajara, which is central Mexico. He become like a real brother and guide to me. He does his own incredible personal journey. Many years ago, he's had incredible life awakening experience in his life, and he had an accident. And we went into a coma.
What kind of accident?
Well, it's like his brain damage or things or something. So it was really bad. And anyway, they put him into hospital, and he was put in a coma, was sent home, and he was on life support.
Oh my gosh.
And I said to him, okay, look, we can't do this project without him.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I said, we're going to wait. So we waited 9 months. I said, no, he'll come back. In 9 months, he passed away.
So sorry.
Yeah, I know. It was a big blow. But anyway, so after 9 months, I was like, okay, what am I going to do without Carlos? Because he was the only architect I knew without an ego. Luckily, when I left college, instead of working in corporations, I decided to go and work for the family. So my father put me on the building site, and I was like 5 years in construction sites, building hotels with architects, and I've always liked that sort of thing. Then I had the furniture company, the design.
Yeah.
So when this happened, I was like, I don't know, man, I've got to do this myself. So what happened? I called a few of the guys who'd worked for him, like his assistants and people. I said, I brought 3 with me. I just started drawing things out. I said, okay, we're going to do this. And then what happened then was, when he died as well, I realized that I can't do what I've always done. I need to do something different. So suddenly, I don't know how, but palm trees, Palmaïa came to my mind. So I just started saying to everyone, it's going to be called Palmaïa, it's going to be luxury. That's all it was. But what is it? I don't know. Don't worry. Just start doing this. So I started doing this. We started doing the rooms. And basically over the next year, because basically it was a year before opening, that I decided to change it. We just basically improvised the whole place. It was unbelievable. I mean, and every experience I had gave me the exact idea I needed for the project I was doing. So I'd be in Greece at a wedding at a friend's in June, and there I saw a piece of wood cross. In Destico, I could use something like that. So when I came back here, I did the roof of Sukasa. No, but put it this way and do like that with a light behind. And it was, the whole thing just happened by itself, literally, you know? It just unfolded without even me thinking. It was just like,
do you think it unfolded without you thinking, or were you actually guided by something else? I think I was just, the physical body was something being channeled through me to do this, for sure, definitely, Because there were too many coincidences that happened for it to be, it's impossible. And then I remember like 2 months before opening, shit, there's no spa. What are we going to do? We need as a luxury hotel, we need a freaking spa. We can't have a spa. What are we going to do? So we were like, oh God, okay. Oh, look there, where the cement pylons were. They're just taking away the last pylon, so there was a little space there. I was like, shit, but it's got no structure. What are we going to do? We'll build it out of wood. So we built the lobby there. We'll build a lobby here, and I brought in the guy, let's go into the jungle. Okay, we'll build a path here. Ugo, my architect, come with me. Okay, we'll put one room here, one room there, right? Put it on the plan. Okay, good. And okay, what are they going to look like? I don't know. Here, I drew the entrance. You know the way the temples are now in the spa. Yes. So I kind of drew that on a piece of paper, and then they rendered it and gave it to me. Yes, no, change that. Wow.
And they started doing it with wood. What's the quickest thing we can do it out of? Wood and plasterboard. Okay, do it. And then suddenly I said, okay, cover it in chukum, which is the Mexican paste that you see. It's like a resin combined with cement, all the Mayans use, right? So it's like that yellowy material you see in the spa. Okay. So we covered it in chukum, and we're like, it looks really modern. It's a bit smooth. Anyway, a week later, we realized that using plasterboard was a mistake, and everything started to crack everywhere. And everyone was like, oh no, we've got to change it. I was like, no.
It's perfect.
It looks great.
Oh, beautiful.
So maybe we could throw some mud on it. It looks even better. So, okay, now paint the circles on it. No? So the whole thing sort of...
That's amazing.
Channeled. And then at one point I was working also with my creative director, and we were saying the name, and there was the house of what, and it was going to be the house of AïA, the house of this, the house of AïA, and then okay, we'll call it the house of AïA, no? And then we were like, okay, what's and then AïA? I don't know, we just decided anyway. But then what happened? But then I was like, House of AïA, I wonder if it already exists. So I looked at House of AïA on Instagram, and it was this like bondage site of people tied up and like, so I was like, whoa, we can't do this. So I was like, okay, AïA. so I was like, well, the House of AïA, but put 2 dots on the I. I don't know why. It was just.
Isn't AïA the Mother Earth?
Well, I realized afterwards that AïA is obviously Gaia, ayahuasca, and coincidentally, my daughter's called Alaya. AïA was everywhere, and I didn't even realize it.
That's amazing.
So again, that wasn't a coincidence.
Yeah, exactly. That's what all these things exactly happened at the time it happened.
Wow.
So we managed to open. I mean, I think the last 3 months were the hardest months of my life. I mean, I've opened many hotels before, built them as a kid, as I said, when I was doing all that stint in Spain. But opening this was definitely the hardest challenge in my life, because trying to get this sort of quality and look in Mexico is super complex. And also doing it last minute.
Of course, you had a bit of a fire drill.
No one had anything. I need chairs. No one's got them. No one had anything anywhere. So I had to like go here, find this, travel to there, find a bunch of chairs, put them there. Well, it was super complex to get the place actually open and done with materials that.
Well, the creative process. Like I think it's a really, really delicate balance when you're undergoing a massive lift. Meaning, and this is bigger than anything I could even ever fathom trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
But kind of finding it in the flow state to go step by step and allow each step to instruct the next step.
Yeah, because I think that chaos created this thing which seems almost perfect in a way.
Of course.
Which is weird because it's everywhere is like, there's really like everywhere is different, but it has this.
But I think that's what makes it special as well, because you feel like you enter these different worlds. Every place that you go, even like here where we are in Plantisa.
Yeah, everyone, no one realizes it was created out of chaos.
Well,
because once it was divinity putting something through me, which suddenly was order, right? I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain.
Cosmos out of chaos.
Really weird.
No, that's really, really.
I was only able to digest this a bit once I'd opened, because once I'd opened, I literally collapsed for 3 months.
Yeah.
And the COVID hit. I was like, oh, thank God.
God. God.
Seriously, for me, it was like the beginning. Okay, it was stressful for the first month because we had to reorganize the whole company. What's going to happen? Right. But after the first month, I was like, oh, okay. Now think about what I'm going to do. What we're going to do. What we're going to do. What's going to happen anyway? Will this even open again? You know. Yeah. So it was an interesting time for us.
So that was the how. What about the why? What was the intention?
The intention became, for me, to do the opposite of what I had. So what I had was something inherited, which was already created by my father and the family. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to do something for the first time in my life that represented who I was. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to do something that I would be proud to invite my friends to, and something that I would enjoy myself personally. Because I've traveled around the world extensively. I've been to, as I said, I've had the privilege of traveling of most of Asia. I've stayed in the best hotels in Asia, all the top luxury brands I've tried. You know, being in the business, I've got I'm the curiosity. I want to know everything, so I stay everywhere I can. Yeah. And what I noticed was that all these businesses, they were all soulless in a way. All these big brands, you know, these big corporate brands, they had no soul, they had no heart, and they had no feeling in them. No, my dream was to create somewhere that had a soul. Without realizing. See, many years ago, I was thought, how could I do somewhere? Why all these places? So how can I create somewhere with a soul? And also, I think this then appeared in my life, and I think it has a soul, right?
Oh my gosh! Well, I think what you've created here, and
there's also the people, sorry, in it, like
right? The people, but outside of like the beautiful like place you've created architecturally, it's the concept itself that I see that how people transform when they come to a place like this, because what you're offering is not just a beautiful experience to relax, but like even the classes that you guys, like the program, the Architects of Life, right?
This came about because remember we said before that I can't feed people ecology, right? Yeah. So I was like, okay, how can I get people to care about nature? We're all one, but first thing you need to do is care about yourself. Right? So until you care about yourself and you start on your journey, you then don't realize till you're connected to the earth, because we're all one, and that way we can get people to care about the earth and nature and themselves, which is a greater purpose than just, you know.
And so what do you think it is about Palmaïa? I have my own ideas, but that allows people to connect to themselves.
I think, first of all, the people we have. I mean, what's interesting as well is the way this place just seem to unfold. It also, the people that arrive here unfold exactly when they have to. Yeah. So for example, when we were building it, towards the end, we were like, we need to paint this mural. We need an artist. What are we going to do? Next day morning, Eva's CV came through. Hey, I was going to leave Mexico. I got to go back to that, but I'm stuck here for 2 weeks. Do you need anything painting? So I looked at my creative director. I was like, give her a call. You never know. And she's still here giving art lessons. And so I think the people here have this, definitely a special energy about them. I think it's really attracting interesting people. So I think it gives this air of authenticity that other hotels probably don't have, because they're more organized, they're more structured, they're more corporate. Here we allow a bit of chaos, which gives this, which also may mean that the experience may not always be perfect. You know, some things might happen incorrectly. Sometimes something might not be cooked properly, but I think we need to allow that little bit of imperfection in order for the greater purpose, let's call it, or experience to unfold. No, and also I think that as you said, how does it happen? Everything's very designed, very, you know, we put a lot of purpose into how it all works. Like all in the morning, the rituals, midday, the evening, the beach, and then the music in the evenings. You know, the experience is made up of holistic experiences, fitness experiences, mind soul experiences, music experiences. I think music's super important as well. You know? When you go to a wellness retreat or whatever, there's very rarely music concerts on the beach, and music's beautiful. You feel that vibration. You're like,
100%. Especially when you guys do it here with the fire every night on the beach, and like you do connect to this like different frequency when you're in that experience.
Which is super cool. I think it's super important to live, because basically my philosophy is that in order to live healthy, it doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to be restrictive. You can live a healthy life with a beautiful way and a fun way and a satisfactory way and a luxury way. I don't like using that word, but you know, if you want something high end, you can also live healthy. Most people think that being healthy is restrictive, right?
And also people think that living in luxury is also self-centered
as well. Yeah, like
and
chandeliers hanging from the roof.
No, yeah, and there's something. I mean, there's something really, really unique about the wheel of what you've built here, and I think it starts with the people that are here and the experience that you're giving. It's a highly spiritual, personal experience in a place that traditionally is the opposite. And as well, like it embraces, like you embrace family here. The amount of people that I see with young children, like you have a Waldorf school on site.
Which Xavier absolutely loves.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, well, that comes from the philosophy of growing, like raising my own kids, where I want them to be connected to nature, and I want them to grow in a conscious way and not through a system that's forcing them to learn academically too young, when, you know, that's not right nowadays. You don't need to teach kids like algebra at 2 years old, you know. They don't need to do that till they're 8. You know, and pushing kids too young is bad for them, because our body grows at a certain speed, and so is our mind. If you push the mind too much, you create that imbalance, which then creates all these anxiety problems, ADD, and lots of other traumas later on in life. You know, why do we have so many teenagers nowadays who are depressed and, like, you know,
Instagram?
Let's not go into that one. I think the biggest luxury in one of these experiences is to be able to be at peace with yourself.
I think that's...
So if you can arrive somewhere and be at peace with yourself, everything else just unfolds.
I think in a beautiful way, like the true service here is redefining the word luxury. To take care of yourself, take care of the earth,
and to also be healthy, like to eat, like what 90% of your resort is plant-based, or 95,
80, 85, 90. It depends on the menu, but basically,
but the fact that people can come and experience healthy food that's actually good for them and their bodies, because when you think of vacations, especially when it comes to like the all-inclusive experience, right, like people come and it's like, overindulgence and volume.
That's one of our biggest barriers, the fact that we have plant-based food, but we do have non-vegan options as well. But most people just hear the word vegan, plant-based, and they run away, no? But the irony is that, let's take the average case. When you're going to go on vacation, the first thing you think is, oh, I'm going to eat everything. It's normal. You want to eat everything. You want to try different foods, different flavors. Oh, so I'm going to eat everything. Okay, cool.
And then you feel like shit.
No, I'm going to eat everything, so I'm going to probably put on weight. Right? But then you think to yourself, it's okay, I'll put on weight, but when I get home, I'll do a diet, right? But then when people get home, how many people do a diet? Probably 10%. And the ones that do the diets 85% time don't work, because diets are restrictive. So when you do a diet, when you start eating normal again, or however you start, you eat double, so you weigh more than you did before you did the diet. So 85% of people do a diet weigh more after the diet than before, because they just eat double, because it's restrictive. It doesn't work, right? So imagine this experience where you can come on vacation, eat as much as you want, and not put on weight, probably. If you follow like at least 80% plant-based eating while you're here, you know? Because the problem is most people eat too much protein.
Too much protein.
Too much animal protein, too much protein in general. We don't need this many calories in our body every day. We eat too much. So, and the reason we eat too much is because most meals are made up of some form of animal protein. And that protein density goes into your body, and it reflects itself as too many calories, and that's how you get all the health problems you put on weight. The great thing about plant-based is I'm not saying here, stop eating your food, stop eating what you love. I'm saying, okay, come here, clean yourself up, learn what it feels like to eat less, and then see how you feel. So here, the great thing about plant-based food is that, first of all, it can be made super tasty nowadays with all different methods you can do. I mean, you've got a range here of 354, I think, different plant-based dishes.
That's how many?
Yeah, altogether, all the ones we have and the different ones we have and everything, all the ones behind that we have in the making and everything. It's amazing. There's a massive variety. So you're not going to get bored. And for me, also, not just that, even the experience is so different from a normal hotel that it's almost a culinary experience to come here, because you're eating different textures and flavors that you never tried.
No, for sure.
Someone who eats a normal American diet or whatever, or eats well in America, they go to the steakhouses, Italians, Chinese, or whatever. When they come here, it's going to be different. So people who love food will love this place.
And you get to experience the actual joy of eating, right? I find that like when you're in some vacations where it's just like buffets and you're kind of like unconsciously eating, because like you were saying, you just want to eat a lot of food. But when you actually think about the idea of sitting down and having a meal, like in Ayurveda, they say you're supposed to chew your food like 33 times before you actually swallow. That's a lot of time. I don't think anyone can do that. That's a very, but think about, right? It's like that brain and stomach connection. So when we give ourselves the opportunity to actually enjoy our meals in the way that we enjoy meals here, where it's plated and you're taking the time to actually sit down and have an experience with your family, your husband, your wife, and you're going through that. Like, again, that's another, another way of like where you're making a different connection with just food in general.
And the reason plant-based food is healthier for you in general is because plant-based food is fiber. We need so much more fiber in our body. So if you eat fiber, it has a way lower nutritional density than meats and chickens and everything, right? So if you eat fiber, you're filling up, but you have less calories in your body. But you have the amount of calories you need. Because if you eat that same volume in meats and chickens and everything else, you're eating 3 times more calories than you need. And you're forcing your system, you're forcing your liver, you're forcing your pancreas, you're forcing everything in your body. And over time, it's more likely you will have some sort of inflammatory reaction in the form of an illness or whatever, you know?
Well, that's the matrix.
Yeah.
Like
fill them up, right? Yeah.
Fill them up, and basically make them fat, sick, tired, unhealthy, and then all of the things they have to buy to make themselves feel better.
For me, it's not even going into the argument about meat's unhealthy for you or not. It's irrelevant. It's just the amount people eat is unhealthy. It's terrible. And so now that everyone said, I just eat grass-fed beef all the time. I'm like, yeah, but you're probably one eating too much. Secondly, just because it's grass-fed doesn't mean it's healthy, because grass-fed, if you look at the small print, it says that to be grass-fed, all you need to do is stick the animal 1 day a week on grass.
Right.
So the other 6 days is in the farm, the same as all the others.
It's like how organic doesn't really mean organic.
Yeah, unless you've got your own animals in your yard and you're taking care of them yourself, I think it's pretty unlikely you're going to get the healthy meat everyone promises that would be good for you if you ate it. You know,
it's fascinating. It's like it's like flipping the concept of vacation, and whether it's here or wherever it is, I think it's highly necessary in this day and age for people to take a vacation, not just from their work, because everyone thinks vacation is work to let loose. It's like, how about just the entire system that bogs you down? Come to a place, work on yourself, exercise your body, eat healthy, sleep well, spend time with your family, experience food. All of a sudden, all of the different qualities what a good vacation is are kind of flipped on their head.
Unfortunately, vacation, from what I've seen, always in the most part becomes abuse.
Yeah.
Because you're so tied down, you're so limited in the matrix, and you're so like, everything's made to disempower you, to disconnect you.
Right?
So as soon as you on vacation, you suddenly have this tiny sense of freedom.
Yeah.
Because I'm not at work, I'm somewhere different, a different country, no one knows me. It turns into abuse because you're so restricted, you leash out, which is what I said before about the diets. Diets don't work because you're restricting and then letting them out again. The vacations are the same. You're working and then you let them on vacation. It's like letting an animal loose after being a year in a cage.
You look at when we went to Tulum and you go along the beach and you see some of like the clubs or whatever, the day clubs. And you see people just, like you're saying, letting loose, and they're like animals have been released. And I get it. Like I totally get it. I'm not there to judge, because I understand that for those people that week or whatever they take off from the matrix, it is their time to unplug and let loose. Sure, maybe for some that is with, intoxication of alcohol, but for many other people, especially the ones that have families and that are a little more connected to themselves, like even for us, I'm like, to us, letting loose isn't that anymore.
Yeah, I think we've all been there in some shape and form.
Yeah, totally.
So we can't. As I say, we're not here to judge, and we're awesome because we'd be hypocrites in that case.
Totally.
But there's plenty of products for them to go through that phase of life, and hopefully, everyone will wake up and or realize that they want to be healthy or whatever, and contribute to the world in a more positive way, and they will look for different types of products, which will feed all these amazing people around the world who are also doing incredible things. No?
Was there a time for you in your life that you had that type of wake up, like where you were overindulging in that way and then something shifted?
I never really overindulged too much. I remember at 18 years old, I was reading the Tibetan Book of the Dead.
Oh.
So I remember reading a guy called Lobsang Rampa, who was a guy in Ireland who who was a plumber, and he claimed to be the embodiment of a lama in the 70s, and he wrote many books about Tibet as well.
That's beautiful.
So I read all that, but I always knew something spiritual existed, truly, but I couldn't prove any of it.
And you never succumbed to the dark side of...
The dark side, I've been to clubs popping champagne bottles, of course I have, in Morocco, everywhere, London, Paris, New York, done the lot, been there, done it.
But you weren't fully dedicated.
But I wasn't, but the thing is, I go out and party with my friends, they'd all get like completely smashed, and I wouldn't drink that much. Because I don't really drink, because I never really liked it. I don't feel the next day, I want to enjoy the next day. So my friends will go out partying, like Spain. When I was living in Spain, people would party till 10 in the morning.
Oh, I know. So actually, Adrian was saying here, apparently you don't go out to like, I think they're like 2 o'clock, 2 or 3 in the morning is when the party starts.
My friends used to laugh at me because I used to, like, at 3 o'clock, what I do is, like in Madrid, then you'd have to go out dressed in a suit and leather shoes and stuff, right? I was like, I want sneakers and be comfortable, right? So, okay, perfect. So in the cool clubs, they wouldn't let you in unless you wore that clothing. So on purpose, I go out wearing sneakers, and then when we go to the club, they wouldn't let me in. My friends would be drunk, but then, don't worry, I'll go home and get changed. So they go in and get and they don't remember anything. The next day, what a great time. I was like, yeah, it was so amazing. I wasn't even there, but sure.
So, the strategies.
Exactly. So I had fun, but I didn't
It's
completely push.
Because you always had that book, the book in the back pocket.
I always, as I said, the strange thing was when I didn't start drinking alcohol till I was 19.
Wow,
Because for some unknown reason, I was young. I always used to think that my body was a temple of some sort, so I didn't want to pollute it. I just thought those things. I don't know why. I don't know where it came
beautiful. From. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, your father has built a very strong empire around himself, and he came from very little, right?
Yeah, he comes from a village of like 2,000 people. They were farmers. He was like helping his dad in the farm, and at 13 years old, he ran away from home.
At 13 years old? From where? Like, where did he grow up?
It's called Callosa, little village in Alicante in Spain. But then it was a completely different country. It was a dictatorship under Franco.
Yeah.
And when he ran away from home, he had to negotiate his freedom with his father because he was worth production on his father's farm. Wow. So as by law, you had to work for your father. So you had to pay his father a rent until the dictatorship ended to be free.
Wow.
Yeah. Amazing. It's an interesting story.
So what do you think, like, I'm always curious about people's rise to levels of success that they aim towards. What do you think it was that allowed him to accomplish what he did?
Survival instinct.
Yeah?
Coming from where he came, complete
so
survival
doing
instinct.
whatever it takes?
He's got this third sense of smell. He's like a tiger in business,
Wow.
Yeah. He's also had ups and downs. He plays everything. He's super high risk, so he's lost everything 3 times and just recovers every time,
Wow.
That's interesting.
And what did you take from your father that you apply to what you do now?
The great thing is, between the way he thinks, I reach a great balance because he's the extreme, but he's always right in many ways. So if you take what he says and I can, Alexize it in my way.
Alexize.
Whatever, because I try and reach a balance always, So
how was his reaction to like when he saw what you've created here, which was supposed to be an extension?
Well, luckily they didn't know because they thought I was doing something else.
Really?
They realized at the end, so it was too late, and then they were like, "Oh, let the kid do what he wants, and then we'll see." But they don't. As I said, the business is pretty much mine anyway, so I do what I want, which is nice. But from behind, obviously, you get all the opinions and everyone's speaking, and obviously they all think I'm crazy.
Well, I think maybe they think you're crazy because they're coming from maybe an older generation mentality.
It's a different way of thinking.
Exactly. And I feel right now, like based on like where the earth is shifting and where everything is ascending to, like this is the future. This type of places, and not just this, but I hope there's gonna be many more coming to the world of people where they can come in and work on themselves, and it's more about self-exploration rather than self-indulgence.
I think also this was built like for me, like profit. Luckily, I'm pretty comfortable, so I've been able to do this without having to really think about profit.
Right.
So I've been able to do it with a complete passion and
which is why you feel the heart.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So having that privilege for me has been unbelievable, because the fact that I am here at this moment and I had the situation I had in my life, that I was allowed and had the space and moment to be able to do this, I think it's almost impossible.
So you think, how much of this do you think has been the invisible hand? Like, how much has it been in control of you? 89?
99, 100 probably.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because we're all just masters of our destiny, right?
Yeah. What do you mean by, hang on, what do you mean by that?
Well, everything's pre-planned, isn't it? You think everything's coincidence, but then as life goes on, you realize that coincidences aren't coincidences, but part of the plan.
You think each and every one of us has
everything happens
bigger plan?
I'm completely convinced. Yeah, absolutely. Even the fact that I moved that cup there then.
Oh, that's interesting. I like thinking about that. Just
right? Right?
Like,
why would I do that?
Why would you do that?
Why?
Right?
It's just crazy, isn't it?
Was that predetermined, or did you actually make the decision to
exactly? Was it really my choice or not?
Right?
Exactly.
It's fascinating.
It's a deep one to go down, eh?
No,
we haven't got long enough, 4 hours for that one at least.
I think about that a lot, though. I mean, every little decision in our life is a chain reaction of events that leads you to exactly where you are.
Yeah, the fact that this happened, I only really was able to. In fact, I never understood what happened until I started doing some plant medicine after opening the hotel. And once I did some experiences, I did some mushrooms, I've done ayahuasca, but obviously every time I did it really intentionally by myself in natural areas with the right people. Ayahuasca, I had the Brazilian tribe here that were here in the jungle with me, and it was completely beautiful. They were chanting all night.
Here in Mexico? You went to Brazil?
They come here a few times a year, and it's really cool to be able to be with these beautiful, dedicated, like spirit workers, Wow. And the way they do it is so powerful. Anyway, these journeys, little by little, the ones I did, basically showed me everything. And the first journey of the mushrooms I did showed me the architect Carlos just laughing at me and showing me that, this was his divine project.
You saw him in
his death catalyzed this project, imagine.
Wow.
And that the whole journey showed me that, which was incredible. Yeah, and then another journey I had showed me how my entire journey from when I arrived to Mexico, from the first peyote ceremony I did 10 years ago by chance with my ex, and we did that. That was the seeding of something within me that became what everything is now. It showed me the entire timeline, and why the fact that everything happened, the fact that this ended up in my hands is just complete, like, there are no coincidences. But when you look at it, it's almost impossible for it to happen. And you're like, how is it possible that every single chain reaction, as you said, led to this? The only explanation is this divinity. Because it's just too much. It's just too impossible.
So the deep belief in that, how do you behave every day?
Well, as well as I can and as good as I can. And
like, is it just sort of, are you surrendered to that which you're supposed to be doing?
Not as much as I should be, because obviously I live in the matrix, right?
Yeah, no.
I have to live in this system, which has this financial system, which has these teams of people. Not everyone's on the same wavelength, obviously, because everyone's in their own stage of journey. So I think that, unfortunately, it is super easy to get tied up in the physical, conscious, illusional matrix world. But I think that the goal for us all is to find ways to constantly connect to source more and more, right? To find our inner peace and let this plan unfold, which is unfolding in the world, right? And even though the world seems chaotic now and everything that's happening, I think there are beautiful things and beautiful people doing incredible things. So look at you guys. I mean, you're all part of this amazing, beautiful, positive movement that's happening in the world, right? We can look at the other side, but there's also
try not to.
We try not to.
But we've got to see both, right?
No, both, you got to understand both.
But how do you find that balance between being someone that's running a business and having to kind of really work in that matrix, but then finding time? How do you reconnect to that energy within you when
you do it?
Well, I know how I do it, but I want to know how Alex
then we'll ask him. First, I want to know for you.
How I do it?
Yeah.
Tell us how you do it.
Well,
because you run a business, same thing.
Yeah.
Well,
it's interesting, isn't it?
I go into the ocean, actually. Yeah. The ocean or water, any kind of element for me, to be by myself in it helps me reground. Meditation and yoga, and prayer.
Okay.
Prayer,
yeah, and through meditation. But yeah,
I'm not as good as I should be at all these spiritual practices, especially having this place. But what I do is I take alone time and I have hobbies. I draw, I take photographs, I read.
You're an incredible photographer.
And I do all these things that just make me feel like I'm just one, And then also I go running in nature, I go walking in the jungle, I go do gardening with my guys. In the Palmaïa team, I take my gardeners and we go into the jungle and look for things behind,
So you do a lot.
Yeah, you do a lot.
Yeah.
Reconnecting with nature.
But I don't have any method as the breath works or things like that.
No, but I don't think
I've got my own unconscious
But I think that is your method, right?
Yeah. Oops.
Whoa.
Someone hit themselves on the head hard there.
It sounds like connecting to nature and then also reconnecting to the access points of source to yourself, creatively speaking.
I think nature has the answer to everything. We're living, as we say, in this matrix, but ignorantly we already have all the answers in nature.
It's funny,
is there. Like healing is already there.
Like you said, running, right?
Yeah.
But you actually said
barefoot
running.
If I can.
But you said running in nature.
I can run barefoot in the jungle sometimes.
Really?
In the jungle.
Yeah, and then I get a spike in my foot.
Yeah, I was like, are you scared to
bleed a bit? That's fine. Yeah, bring the biome in. Get it there. Get some bacteria in there. It's good for you, right?
Wow.
So I think that's super important. And as I said, the healing is everything's there. More simple. I think the more simple you keep life, the more healthy you are. Like everyone, like all this, for example, COVID, right? As you said before, we spoke before. The problem is that it's all suddenly we're looking for an external solution to a fabricated problem, right? Whereas our immune system is divine. We are incredible. The fact that we're here right now, all three of us, is such an act of chance because it means that so many of our, the physical body, so many of our forebearers, ancestors, and thousands of years back, right? No one squashed them, killed them in a war, died of dysentery or whatever. Like the fact that we're alive and this lineage came and you and I, we're here now.
Yeah.
is incredible. And it's for a reason, right? Why are we here? Over thousands of years, how many times has the earth moved and breathed and changed its bacterial and viral composition inside of it, right? In order for the earth to change, we need to change as well. So if the viral composition of the earth or the bacterial composition of the earth changes, we need to absorb that and change and become one with earth, right? And we have the tools to adjust perfectly to the vibration of the planet. But instead of doing that, we're finding external solutions, with medications, blah, 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 So I think no one really talks about that. The fact that, I think a lot of these pioneering doctors and COVID have definitely come out and said, hey, immune system, remember we have one.
Yeah, but they somehow get silenced or just pushed to the side.
The Matrix has a different plan for us, right?
Right.
Yeah.
What has been your trick, to keep your immune system strong? Like, do you have any sort of hacks or anything like that?
What do you do to keep healthy?
I think I do in the mornings. I like to do skin scrubbing sometimes when I can.
What is that?
You got these thick brushes, right? And when you're dry in the morning, you just kind of do circles around your body. And it feels like your skin's burning. But what's happening is it's activating your lymphatic system.
Oh, wow.
And you feel like if you do it around this area, especially like this area, it's like, feels like you're going on fire, But it's really good because you're feeling all the circulation go around your body.
Skin scrubbing.
Do you
have to get a special brush for that?
It's like in the Ayurvedic places, they sell them. They're like a bit harder than because the shower ones are too soft. They don't work. So it needs to be quite a hard one. At the beginning, you're like, but you start from your feet up and you move around. I do that sometimes. We do tongue scraping, I think is important as well, definitely, because our body detoxes in many different ways, and the tongue is definitely
So what's tongue scraping all about?
it's kind of like a U-shaped
Ayurvedic
piece of metal,
too,
right? Copper or obviously ideally copper, right? And you just kind of scrape your tongue gently with it, and you get all the white slime and stuff on that you have in the morning and things. Because when you stick your tongue out, it's not always pink. It's sometimes got a white layer on it, and you can scrape that layer off, and then that you're removing all the toxins. Because if not, you're absorbing them all again in your body.
That's so interesting.
Which goes aligned with the fasting philosophy, right?
Yeah.
When you fast, I'm talking about long-term fasting now, not just taking like intermittent. When you do fasting for more than 24 hours, the thing is, we're addicted to food. We're always eating, right? We're eating lunch, dinner, like breakfast, a snack at midnight before we go to bed. We're not giving our body time to detox. So the body already knows how to detox. We just need to give him the time. So after 12 hours, ideally 24, your body goes into detox mode, which is once all the food's passed through your system, your body thinks, oh, cool. I've got no work to do now. I'm not digesting. I'm going to start detoxing. But what we normally do is we stick more food in, right? Yeah. So your body's like, oh shit, gotta keep digesting again. And digesting consumes 50% of your energy, right? So if when you fast and your body starts like squeezing and detoxing all the all the heavy metals, all the pollutants, everything in your body, what it does is it goes into your intestine, into your colon and everything. But if you don't remove it, your body stops absorbing it again, and you can start getting dizzy. So, for example, when you haven't eaten for a long time, sometimes you'll get stomach hunger aches, but sometimes you'll get dizzy, right?
Or like a headache?
Headachy.
Yeah.
That's not hunger. What that is that your body started to detox. Right. The toxins are going into your intestine, they're going to your colon's reabsorbed into your body. So you're absorbing those toxins again.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's lots of so when you fast, obviously, I use a system where you do enemas every day, so you're removing all the toxins from your colon, and that way you can keep doing long-term fasting.
So this is the fast you're doing?
How often do you fast?
I have a method where I do a few days. I try and do Mondays and Tuesdays if I can. No,
every week?
If I have time, but generally it works out maybe once a month. And then every 6 months, 3 months, I like to do 1 or 2 weeks.
1 or 2 week fast.
What does that look like?
It looks like, what I do is during the day I eat super light, and then the evening I do an enema. Okay, because the idea is, what most people don't realize is that when you fast, the first days are super tough because your body, as I said, starts to reabsorb these toxins, and you're suffering. And until you empty your system out, you don't feel well. So what the enema does is it helps you empty out quicker. Because what you do is you want to empty your stomach and colon out as soon as possible, so you have nothing in your body. Because once you have nothing in your body, then you go into the deep fasting, into the deep cleansing and deep cleaning, right?
So you say you eat though, lightly?
Like for example, I'll do a tea for breakfast, and lunch I'll have a soup or a salad. I won't have any carbs probably or something like that because that's harder to digest. And then in the evening, I'll do an enema. And then next morning, I'll do another enema, which will completely empty me out. So by then, you've got nothing inside your system, and then you feel fine. You don't get hungry.
Yeah.
It's more psychological. Fasting is a psychological battle. because you're so conditioned to want to eat that every time you fast, it becomes different. So some of the times I'm doing fasting, I'm like looking through recipe books, just saying, well, I'm gonna cook that next week, and I'm going, no, you don't. It's just your brain playing.
No, it's so funny. Whenever I fast, I find that my body tries different tactics in a cycle of every 6 hours to try to convince me to eat.
Absolutely.
It's always like,
it's a battle of the mind.
Yeah. So it's like, that's what you're going to try.
Yeah. And every time you do it, you get better, which is good.
Right?
Resisting.
Strengthening your mind.
It's a really interesting thing.
Yeah, it's really, really important. I think nowadays with all the toxic pollutants in the skies being, chucked up there, all the everything in the food and the drink and the water and even in stuff we buy, I think that we're exposed to so many toxins. I truly believe that the only way we can stay clean from it all is to do these like longer fasts, because the only way the body really deeply cleanses and removes these toxins.
So when you do 2 weeks, you're eating throughout the 2 weeks? Or
No. What I do is I do an enema in the morning, as I said, I empty out, and then at midday I have a kidney tea, which is a tea composed of about 8 different herbs or whatever, which it detoxes your kidney, and inside it I add tinctures. So tinctures are different combinations of herbs and alcohol that are macerated for 6 months, and they create this energetic vibration that cleanses different parts of your body. So I have 12 different tinctures for different things, for lymphatic system, for your heart, for your liver, for digestive, for mind, for everything. And I put a little teaspoon of that in the tea as well. And then so I have the tea and the tinctures. And then after that, I have like what I call a sludge. And the sludge is made up of charcoal, bentonite clay powder, and psyllium husk. So the psyllium husk is in there to go through your system because it's fiber. The clay powder goes through your intestine and cleans all your stomach out, because all the villi, like all these little strings of villi you have in your stomach, we have billions of villi which absorb the enzymes and nutrients in our body. They get clogged up if you don't eat well. So the clay kind of like massages them and cleans it out, Yeah. And then the charcoal powder absorbs all the toxins from all your body like a magnet into it. And this, the sludge I make with some grape juice, and I drink it. Wow. And then this becomes like this big black string in your stomach, that goes through your system, kind of cleaning it all out.
Wow.
And then I eat that. I eat that after the tea, and then I drink grape juice and lemon juice from 2 to 5 p.m. 1 or 2 liters, sometimes none, depends how I feel. And then to close the drinking window, I have another tea, kidney tea. And then I do nothing till the next day and start that again. Wow. And in the morning, I do an enema again, and then that black string comes out with all the stuff attached to it. Which is disgusting, but I'm like, better out than in.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a good philosophy for it.
Better out than in.
Where do you get all of these things? Though? Is there like some kind of like package you can buy?
Yeah, you can buy them online in different places.
So it's an actual kit.
You sent me the website once.
Yeah, there's a great guy. Well, this is probably isn't his exact method, so he'll probably get angry with me if he listens to me, but because he does he promotes the 3-month fast or different types of fasting now. But I think his system's the best, and it's called Luigi, a guy in Canada, and it's called. You can go onto masterfastsystem.com.
That's right.
Okay.
And he started doing the 3-month ones, which was healing people of all these chronic diseases. Wow. But then he changed it because maybe I think it was a bit too much for so many people, and he made it a bit more digestible by putting different levels. I think now
digestible.
But now I think you got like 7 levels, right? So level 1 is 1 day a week no eating. Level 2 is 2 days a week no eating, whatever. And on there you can learn how to do it. You pay a fee, and they give you access to all the.
So you go to this website and you can actually purchase these kits.
Hey, you gotta
That's
sign
what I learned originally, like 10 years ago.
But I went there and it was a little confusing.
They're not. The marketing's not their forte, obviously, but they have a great system. So
because I was like, I just want to buy some stuff, and then I was like,
but that's what's so beautiful about it, because they're not. They're not
like there's like a club. What's going on there?
Yeah, but when you go to all these other places that it's all like supermarket in the newsletters and this, these guys are just behind the scenes doing their thing.
No, totally.
So that says a lot,
It actually does. It totally does. But they're on
their path doing their thing, and I think it's incredible. I learned about it 10 years ago, and I used to go into their Facebook group, and you see people doing the 3-month fast, which is super respectable. I mean, 3-month fast is wow.
Yeah.
And all these people who are doing it had these chronic diseases, and they'd all healed from it. It would be incredible,
so interesting.
Unbelievable. And I use that system to maintain myself.
Yeah,
because even though I feel and look healthy, probably, I'm sure that there are things we're absorbing that we don't know.
Of course,
because we live in a toxically polluted world by all this big, globalist system which is eating everything up, right?
So you think that fasting that's something you would highly recommend to people?
Fasting, I think, is the ultimate tool for the ultimate health.
It's beautiful. I've been intermittent fasting for 4 years, and it's changed my life.
I do that a lot.
It's changed my life.
Yeah,
and
I generally live like that.
Twice a year, I think, maybe twice a year, I do a juice fast. Yeah. I've never done, and that's why last time we talked, I wanted to find these tinctures. I wanted to try them.
Meal a day. Like I do a huge lunch, and I feel great just doing that. Sometimes I go on to 2 meals a day, 3 meals a day, but then my general routine is the 1 big meal a day lunch.
Yeah, 3 meals a day is
too much. I can't. And then also, if I have learned that if I have, first of all, I took breakfast away, which is easy. Then I realized that even having dinners is like, late at night is too much for me. But then what I've realized is that you can eat twice a day, but just keep a smaller window. So I have lunch at 12:30 and then a dinner or whatever at 5. And if you have that 5-hour window, you're still intermittent fasting, eating twice a day if you feel you need more food. If you're doing exercise, like right now, if I'm not doing exercise, like I haven't done for the past few months, I'll probably do 1 meal a day. Once I start doing exercise, I'll do the 2. Like
That's interesting.
Maybe a smoothie as well. Maybe a big salad at 5 o'clock.
It's funny, once you get over that hump with intermittent fasting of just like being angry and being like upset, and like that for like 3 months when I started
singing everyone.
Like, how am I ever going to survive like this?
Exactly.
But once I got over that, it really and I find fasting one of the most fundamental principles that it teaches you is to be attuned with your body and the signals it's sending you. And then you rebuild your relationship with food.
Yeah, absolutely. And the greatest thing I learned was we eat too much.
Yeah.
We eat so much. We eat way too much. And when you fast, you realize after fasting that you don't need that much food. And that brings me on to this thing. It's not just about eating plant-based food 3 times a day. You're still eating too much.
Yeah.
You just don't need that much food.
Totally. And then the energy that you save, like you said, digestion is 50% of the energy you burn in a day.
And if you eat animal protein, it's even more energy because the enzyme composition, like the amino acids within animals, that your body has to break them down and rebuild them into enzymes you can digest. So it's even more energy than plants, because that's why when you eat a steak or you have a big like creamy pasta, you fall asleep after.
Yeah, you fall asleep.
Because your body's saying, well, I need time to like digest all this, you know?
Yeah. So with all that extra energy, I mean, I put it into some wonderful places, and it's changed my life. Like single-handedly, it's changed my intelligence, my spirituality, my productivity, like all of that. How did you find the similar shift when you started fasting?
I did. I also found that I had too much time on my hands suddenly when I was fasting, because I was like, whoa, because normally you're 3 hours a day eating.
Yeah.
Imagine you gain 3 hours a day suddenly. My thing was like, gee, what do I do?
What did you do with all that time?
It was weird to have all that time.
You go from 3 hours down to 1.
It was weird to have all that time suddenly, right? Did you feel that as well?
Yeah, for sure, because you're saving 2 hours a day. You go 2 hours a day by a week. That's 14 hours a week. You go 14 hours a week by 4 weeks. You're looking at almost like 56 hours or something.
It's a few weeks a year you're saving there easily.
That's a lot of hours. That's time reallocation. I find I love doing the math, and even though my math is not good, I love trying to figure out by not logging on, like when we cut out Facebook in our life. We cut Facebook out in our life because I was checking my Facebook unconsciously, habit-wise, opening browser,
Instagram as well. I took all social media away because in the end you realize this is ridiculous.
Well, if you think about it, maybe you can do 5 times a day or 4 times a day at 15 minutes a time just to look through a feed.
Yeah, but sometimes
that's an hour a day, right?
But it's so easy to get hooked to that stream.
Exactly.
Like an hour's gone by and you're like, oh, an hour I could have done a language lesson and learned a language.
If you can leave it to an hour. So that's 30 hours a month.
That's a lot.
If you go 30 hours a month by 12 months in a year, you're like, how many hours is that? You're looking at
the whole language a year you can learn.
360.
An extra language a year you can learn.
Oh my God. It's like literally a waking month. Like a waking month.
And I say to everyone, it's a language a year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Imagine 10 years, 10 languages you'd know.
Oh my goodness.
How amazing would that be?
You speak a lot of English.
5, yeah.
I love that language is your barrier. Like,
so what is it? English?
My dad speaks 10.
You know, it's amazing.
But you speak English,
Spanish, French, Italian, and a bit of Portuguese, a bit of Spanish dialect, Valencian.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
That's amazing.
And how did you learn all these languages?
Well, in Europe, as we're all pretty much like stuck together in a soup, and when you're at international colleges and friends are from other countries, you go and visit them, you need to learn the languages, otherwise you can't communicate, right? And in Europe, you drive a few hours in a different country.
Well,
that's true.
Right? So you're like, bonjour. Right? So it's kind of pretty useful to.
That's amazing.
You need to.
And how do you find, you spend most of your time in Mexico, right? When you're not traveling.
I've been living here 15 years now.
15 years. How has it been like just living in Mexico? And
it's been beautiful. Because here life is simpler. There's no like keeping up with the Joneses, as they say. It's more, a simpler life in the end, I think is better. I've lived in cities, and in the end, I mean, I lived in London when I studied 5 years, Paris 1 year and everything. Even when I was in my early 20s, I got fed up of it, I was feeling, which is why I think in the end, instead of going to corporate world, I moved back to Spain to work for the family business, even though I didn't want to. Right. I think subconsciously I needed that break into a more natural life, which Spain on the coast is more a bit like here,
Yeah.
So but the thing is, everyone always says to me, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live? I always get that question. I'm like,
how do you answer?
Nowhere. Because it's impossible to answer. Because nowhere's perfect.
Yeah.
Because everywhere has its good and its bad. And the secret is, wherever you are, take the good and don't take the bad. And I think you can do that. Even if you live in a city, you can take the good. And if you want to be a super high power lord in New York and you want to be spiritual and do yoga and whatever, you can do that. You build yourself a little studio, you get yourself in a house, make yourself an area to meditate. It can be done. You just need to find the discipline.
Yeah.
It's tough. I mean, it's tough doing gym in these big cities in winter. I remember in London, like at 5 in the afternoon, it's dark and it's freezing.
Everything's difficult.
Yeah, but you've got to do it, because if you want to stay healthy, if you want to live healthy, because I think the way I see it as well is health is so important, because if you don't look after yourself, at the end, you're going to get an invoice. And the invoice is going to be hospital, this, that. Yeah. And do you really want to fall into the medical system and hospitals when you're older? Do you want to spend the rest of your lives going in and out, having tests, medications, this, x-rays, that, care here, that, and maybe die in a hospital? I don't want that. My ultimate goal in life is to die peaceful in my couch at home, just relaxed and thinking how beautiful everything is. Yeah. Not with white lights in hospitals, and that's not a way to go. No. And I think you can avoid. And we need to think ahead, and people don't think ahead because we just care about the now.
Yeah.
But it can happen to us all.
Yeah.
Well, it can even happen to me, illness, anything. Any of us can, right?
Yeah.
Well,
there's so many factors that determine our physical expression, right?
Kind of what we're saying. Every decision leads to the end result, right?
Yeah. And so if you can do as much as you can to avoid the negative side of it, the end of a life. Because if you look at the world now, I mean, most people die in hospitals.
Yeah.
What a way to go, no?
And really, really unhealthy.
Yeah, and stuck to tubes and, taking every pill you can imagine. Of course, this is all, by design to disconnect us as well, right? From source and everything. So everyone's so taken in this physical ailments they have on these toxic chemicals they're taking. It's just more disconnection, and it's more like,
Well, you look at also the Western world, I find like, even when we look at children and young adults, as soon as they begin, they're saying that like teenage depression is on the rise, suicide is on the rise. Like as soon as they start to feel the shift in their mental health, instead of going down to the root of what's actually causing the issues here, social media.
Medicine.
Yeah, they go, put them on antidepressants.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Like how many people are actually taking antidepressants right now in America and in Canada? Like we ourselves have family members that are on it. You know what I mean?
Statistic in the States, isn't it 80% of the states take 2 or 3 prescription medications or something like that? Crazy?
Oh, yeah.
For 2 or 3 prescription medications. You can't even imagine, right?
Yeah, it's insane.
Way beyond what you would imagine.
What does that actually do, especially to a growing brain? Like when you're looking at a young adult. And so it's hooking these children to these chemicals, and then we wonder why we're just continuing.
Also, the way we've been pushed more into cities and opportunities in the city, everything's a city. It's not cool to be a farmer and all these things, right? So living in cities as well, you're disconnected from nature, not just by not seeing nature, but not walking like, barefoot grounding in nature. You're not walking in the land,
Yeah.
I mean, don't forget that originally, before supercities existed, we were all probably living in nature, walking in nature, and we all, this vibrational and voltage and light within the world and nature is part of our healing, which is why, animals never get sick. Why do animals never get sick? Because they're just living in nature, walking around in nature. They're connected to nature. They're barefoot in nature. We're never barefoot. We're wearing sneakers all the time. When have you seen an animal stick? Hardly ever.
I have no idea.
How do they get like diseases from weird things?
It's all human induced. Like for example, beach whales. Oh, how could it be happening? I mean, obviously sonar experiments.
Well, you open them up and it's plastic.
Exactly. And then they're full of toxins, so they died. Obviously, because they're taking all the heavy metal in the ocean, right?
Right.
But animals, they tend to, traditionally live in harmony with the earth.
African animals, they don't die. They get shot.
Yeah.
Right.
They're the most. I don't know. I'd be interested. Every animal that ever gone extinct been at the hands of humans.
Most of them die of old age.
No, but the ones that go extinct.
The ones that have
extinct. Oh yeah,
I would
is it all out of the hands of humans?
I would say yes. I mean, I don't know, but
in the last for 500 years, easily.
Sure.
Easily.
Well, I mean, every day I think a new species of animal goes extinct.
Yeah, that's what's recent was the white rhino, right? And the last one.
Oh my God, that was so heartbreaking.
So, I mean,
that was so heartbreaking.
And we're elephants. I mean, gorillas. There's only 340 left in Uganda, and it's crazy.
It's really crazy.
It's ridiculous.
What can we do?
It's unbelievable.
Seriously,
such beautiful divine creatures.
Oh my God,
zero respect. It's like unbelievable.
You know what made me so sad? The other day we were in Mexico actually, and walking by, there's like this store. Maybe you've seen it, and it's like
on the strip in Playa del Carmen.
Oh yeah, Fifth Avenue, you mean?
And they have like
Fifth
baby tigers.
Oh god, yeah. They've got they're leopard, they're jaguars and things.
Jaguars, a
like
tiger.
and they're like
in Mexico, you're still allowed to own these things as mascots. But also, did you know that in the USA, there are more tigers in captivity as pets in the USA than in the wild? So the USA, I think, has something like 3,500 tigers as pets for people in their homes and places. And Mexico is just as bad as the politicians.
What are we doing? Like, as human beings, like, what are we doing?
We're going down the what are we doing?
Well, easy. We're destroying all the ecosystems that support all these animals. So when we destroy the ecosystems, the animal invades the human area. Oh, the animal's bad. Shoot it, and then keep invading the
and take their babies, drug them up, and put them.
Oh my gosh! I literally last time when we walked.
The worst thing is people go and have photos with them still.
Yeah,
well, that's the thing. People are giving them money. We were walking by, and the guy was like, "Hey," and I literally gave him a dirty look. I was like,
and on the top it says conservation.
Yeah.
They say it's a foundation for conservation.
That's
the oldest trick in the book.
Yeah, SeaWorld's still open too.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Well, I think they were pretty happy that Silicon died, right? Oh. Which was the big problem for them. So he died, and then that was a big weight off their shoulders, I think, after the documentary came out, right?
Yeah, that's just
that's so sad. Imagine that animal was 38 years in a tank.
Yeah.
My God,
that must be eternal.
Oh my God.
And Lolita, the other orca, is still in Miami in Miami Seaquarium, which is worse than SeaWorld, by the way.
Yeah.
And that's still there. That shouldn't be there. She shouldn't be there. It's crazy.
Is that the one that we were talking with the director about?
Of Earthlings?
Lolita, yeah.
Lolita's the worst one, yeah.
Yeah, she's been
in Miami forever. Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's really.
And then they say they can't be released into the wild because but obviously all their teeth are filed down because they're biting away and
it's so heartbreaking. Like
okay, hang on, guys. Let's turn this positive.
Yes.
We just went down the what are we doing?
The rabbit hole. We
went from like rhinos to baby tigers.
Well, actually, you know what's crazy, Mike?
We're doing the best we can, so that's the only
my question for you. I'm just really curious because you own a business in Mexico, and we were in Tulum in March. I forget who we spoke to, but someone told us this crazy rumor that like apparently 80% of hotels in Tulum. This is just a rumor, so don't quote me on it. Has been taken over by the cartel.
Ownership, maybe they go in there and they probably sell a few things, but
have you ever seen this happen around here?
Basically here they all sell, but it's because of the people who consume.
What do you mean they all sell?
Well, the narcos obviously they exist. They have their business.
Right.
Their business exists because people come and buy.
Yeah.
Because my problem is not so much with the narcos, but with the people who consume.
Right.
Because what people don't realize is the real price of that gram they consume. They come to this country, they take a gram, they party, as you said, go crazy, and they go home. But then they are narcos. But what they don't realize is that every time you buy a gram, you're contributing to all the death, torture, murder, and destruction of ecosystems for plants that makes the system work.
But they have never come to actual businesses.
They do sometimes, but
so it's not it's not as the romantic cartel runs everything in Mexico.
No.
Is it crazy like that?
The rumors exist, but we don't really know.
Is it in America?
I think what happens is anywhere, everyone runs their business. Their business is that one, and it exists because there's consumption, right? And there's nothing we can do about it except get people to stop. Taking drugs,
the two things you know about Mexico when you live in Canada are the cartel runs the country and don't go anywhere, you'll get shot. And
I think that's probably applicable anywhere, right?
Yeah.
In Canada too.
Yeah. Toronto. I think Chicago, right?
Chicago.
All these places, right?
No, it's interesting. So it's a lot of that is just bullshit then, hey?
Yeah. Well, I think bullshit exists, but it's part of the system here.
And it depends where you go. We drove through El Paso, Texas.
Yeah.
And looking over, being in El Paso and looking over the river at Mexico there. And this is where
amazing,
what's that movie called that's about the human trafficking?
Sicario?
Yeah, that's where Sicario was shot and it I was oh my God, and there's this dark energy when we drove into town. I was
oh, that must be really the industry exists. People consume massive amounts of drugs, so there must be an industry and all that exists for sure.
Right. Yeah, it's a weird thing. You drive in and you see this little river, and on one side is downtown El Paso, and on the other side is all these just little Mexican shanties, and it's just a body of water in between. And this is where all the human trafficking, I guess, and all
imagine the extremes we've reached in the world, right?
Oh, it's crazy.
From one extreme to the other.
River dividing it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What have we come to?
It's crazy.
What have we come to?
It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm going down that path. Okay, let's bring it back.
Let's bring it back.
Bring it back. Come to the light, everybody. We got to come back to the light. All right. Well, so maybe we should wrap up. Maybe this is a nice time to just put a bow on this. And this has been really, really, really cool.
Good. Yeah.
This has been really cool.
My other question for you is something that is so beautiful to see, like the programming that you guys run here. You have all these, like, you have the shamans who lead like certain like soul readings with shamans and like different
human design courses.
Yeah, like
wonderful young.
Well, we call them personal growth guys, not shamans, because for me, if someone calls themselves a shaman, they're not a shaman.
Right.
Because the real shamans, when you meet the ones from Brazil who come and give the medicine, as I said, they're not shamans. They never call themselves shamans ever.
That's amazing.
You know, the humility.
Stay away from someone that actually says I'm a shaman.
I think so, because the humility in these people, they're so powerful. Yet they just come along as these guys who serve medicine for the greater purpose.
Right. But how did you find the people that are?
Oh, you see, there's chat groups here. People send things around. Then you kind of know the right one. You know.
Yeah, you feel it.
Yeah,
like
you know when the moment's the right one. You know. Yeah. And then when you've done them already, you know the tribe and you get to know them, so you know who they are. And
it was beautiful. We had a Temazcal last 2 weeks ago with what was her name? The woman that leads the spa.
Tanya.
Yes.
They're good, eh? That
was beautiful because it was.
It's tough, eh? They do a good.
Well, you know, for us, because we had 2 people with us that it was their first Temazcal, so you know they had to go lighter. Which Mark and I were like, oh, we wanted it to be stronger and hotter,
exactly.
especially for
like the 99 degree sauna, you know.
Yeah.
That was a tourist one for you.
So for us,
gave you the tourist version.
But it was a little light, but the
outside of the heat,
experience of it,
and
her and
the energy of them, it's amazing.
Energy, and that's why I was like, wow, like Alex, like you really find very special.
Yeah, but I'd never done that till like 2 months ago either. It was there, but I'd never done it till 2 months ago. When I did it myself, I was like, wow, I'm so lucky to have these people here. This is like really authentic, amazing. They put their heart and soul into it,
and they bring their culture into it.
But they're doing it because they really love it. And other places, it's not like that, which is really amazing. I was like, wow, this is incredible, super.
No, there's a beautiful intention in everything here, and I think that's why when we've spent time here at your place, it's felt like home.
Well, it's crazy for us too. Like our first experience at Palmaïa, like we found it because we were looking for a sabbatical. Mark and I didn't have a vacation in 7 years. And we were like, where can we go where we can actually unplug and be in a conscious environment with healthy food, but also that childcare because we had a son.
To rebuild ourselves.
Doesn't exist.
And rebuild ourselves because we were really burnt out. And so we needed that time to we didn't even take too many classes that you guys have offered. We literally, most of the time, just chilled by ourselves.
But that's why I say the great thing about, I think, this project is that it meets everyone at the level they're at.
Yeah.
Right? So for some people, being at a wellness resort, living a retreat experience for them could be just not touching their mobile phone for a week.
Yeah.
That for them may be the best detox wellness week of their life. You know, but other people, they might come in at I remember I saw one, I used to go and do practices in the morning sometimes, and in one of the tents there'd be this lady doing yoga by herself. My God, I've never seen someone do a practice. I mean, she was like the yoga she was doing, I've never seen in my life. And so you can get someone at an ultra high level, just does their own thing as well, eats here, blends in. So whatever your stage you're at, you can find something for whatever you want, you know?
Right, or exactly, or dive into the program.
Yeah, in fact, a lot of guys come with their wife or girlfriend who want this experience. The guy doesn't want it, and they just chill here, have a bit of meat here and there, and they just enjoy it as well in the end, you know?
Yeah.
At the beginning, they're resistant to it. Then they start to disconnect, relax. They might try practice or two, and they're, oh, cool, yeah, I enjoyed it at least, you know? So,
and I think that's nice as well. That's how I see all of this being is a way of service to people, because it's opening a door just for that little bit of awareness for a lot of people to walk in through and be like, wow, like I can find a way to come into myself. I can put that cell phone aside and I can actually look at the ocean and just breathe and be in silence. Like just those little opportunities. You know, it's interesting when you look at, we were talking about this conversation earlier. It's like finding purpose in your life and finding like your service in what you're doing. And some people say, well, I want to be, you know, I'm healing people, or I want to be giving them specific experiences through yoga, or you know what I mean, or through shamanic plant medicine, whatever it is. But even having like what you're doing, just creating a space, that is your service.
Yeah, for me, it's about teaching people and showing people, and that health can be easy and fun. It doesn't need to be restrictive or serious or whatever. You can have a beautiful experience, eat really well, have fun, and be healthy at the same time. Yeah. Why do we have to live unhealthy?
Exactly.
There's really no logical reason. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. No, that's so beautiful.
Health is a gateway to everything.
Exactly.
It really is.
It is a gateway to.
Yeah, because once you clean your body, then you can clean your soul.
And you clean the mind.
The mind, and then exactly. So, but first you got to clean your body.
Yeah.
Once your body vibrates properly, then the rest.
Yeah, and then you clear that channel to that deeper connection.
Eat healthy first.
I love it. I love it. Well,
thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
You guys, love you so much.
We love you too, and we're gonna put all of your links and everything in the show notes, so people can check it out and come and visit and experience what we've experienced for the second time in our life already, because we love it so much.
Love it.
Yeah, because we love it here so much. But our hope is that people can find it for themselves.
I hope you can come back.
Yeah.
Sooner than later.
We will. Oh, we will.
Good. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Alex. Awesome, brother.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.